Okay? So please notice that this is just the symbol to indicate that line L is parallel to line M. Just like we had a symbol down here to indicate that these things are congruent, we have a symbol to indicate that they are parallel to each other. Okay?
So line L is parallel
To line M.
Okay.
Okay? Come on back, popping. Yeah, same. It's probably not great, but yeah. What? Okay.
Oh, that.
All right. So,
That's about 5 times.
all right, really quickly. Does anyone need me to slow down? Or are we ready to look at one last piece?
Keep on going. You ready to go?
Yeah, I think so.
Y'all, hey, look. I want to point out. I know there's a handful of us still writing, but a lot of us already done. That means that we need to speed it up.
What word you want to
Do what?
What you
I know, but I mean, they might be writing some of those extra details down, but if you already know that, you don't have to write it all.
He's showing
Okay. Terrence. 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 She's not going to help you learn or feel better. You're distracting her from learning. I need you to face forward, drink some water if you need to. Okay. Say again? That's just an arrow. Yeah. Because originally I was pointing an arrow to that triangle saying those triangles indicate they're parallel. Alright, so Kelsey brought up earlier tick marks. Okay, so if I were to draw a tick mark right here and right here, so this is going back to congruent, huh? It's just a little tick mark. I don't know why it's called that, but it's what's called. Well, we don't want to call it a line because we have a line segment, we have lines, so it's not a line, it literally is a tick mark. This tick mark right here is indicating that these two things are congruent. The tick marks on line segments indicate the segments are congruent. Okay? So if you want to make that...
So it's kind of like an equal?
Well, remember their lengths are equal, but the figures are what? Congruent. So the tick marks indicate that those segments are congruent.
Okay.
So tick marks under congruent indicate the segments are congruent.
Okay.
Are congruent.
So tick indicates lines are congruent.
Tick marks indicate the segments are congruent. The tick marks indicate the segments are congruent. If we had 2 sets of congruent segments, what do you think we would do for the second set? You would put 2 tick marks. If you have a third set, you would put 3 tick marks, right? Hopefully we start to see the theme there. Okay?
Are we actually going to use that?
Yes, within this unit. Okay? The tick marks will show up a little bit. The indication that angles are congruent is going to show up a lot. Okay? So here's what I do. Please pay attention. Here's what we do to show that angles are congruent. We put a little curved kind of tick mark. And you see how I'm putting on angles 2 and 3? 2 and 3 are what? Their measures are equal, the angles are congruent. So how many of those little curves would I put on 1 and 4? I put 2 of them to indicate that this is a different pair of congruent angles. Okay? If I had a third pair of congruent angles, it'd be 3.
How do you do so? I didn't understand in middle school though. I understand.
You good now though?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and that is a good thing to note. Hopefully none of that's like brand new information. You should have seen that in middle school. But I know we need a refresher every now and then, so I didn't want to just assume we all remember that perfectly. Any questions before I continue?
No.
We got a spare sheet.
What was there? She.
I was wondering where that was. No one needs this one.
Oh yeah, we got some.
You already put yours up? Yeah, she's good. I had extras and I lost the extras. Okay. Whew. That's some fundamentals. Now let's actually do some learning. All right? So notice follow the directions on the paper that are up here. You're going to use a straight edge, draw 2 lines on your paper, one on each side of the straight edge. This ensures they are parallel. Label one line M and the other N.
Which way we got to turn the paper?
Say again.
Like the way, like the paper this way or like this way?
Doesn't matter. Okay? So, and that's a good question from Dee Dee. It does not matter which direction you turn the paper. Notice that's not a part of the directions, so it doesn't matter.
They got to be.
I would draw them, like that whole sheet of paper is going to be used for this task. I would make it pretty big.
So like if you draw them this way, it depends on the side you draw them because you got to make sure the line.
I would just go all the way across the page and whichever way you go. It doesn't matter other than that. That looks good to me. Okay?
Hamburger?
Whichever way you want to do. Okay?
I know.
Hey, can I erase all this that I've written up here?
Yes.
Jeremy, are you still writing stuff? Oh no, you're drawing. Okay. Okay. So, hold on a second.
You gotta make sure they eat it.
You just ignore what I asked.
See, bro, look what you just made.
Alright, hey, stop and listen. Okay, so you'll see, like this is how I did mine. You don't have to do it like this. It probably is honestly easier if you go straight across or straight up and down. I just did mine here, but I just want you to see it does not matter what angle you put it at, as long as you do the 2 sides of the ruler and get parallel lines. How do you know these are parallel?
When they,
Triangle.
Okay, but here's the thing. Can you actually look here and make sure that if they can, because remember, they'll continue forever. Can you tell right now that they'll never intersect?
Yes.
How?
Well, no. Because maybe one day.
Because of the direction they're going.
I have drawn something on here to tell you that they are parallel.
The triangle.
The triangles,
Oh.
right? You see those triangles on there? Okay. So label your line M and label line N, it doesn't matter which is which, and show that they are
They gotta be
parallel.
close together and like leave a little gap between.
I missed that, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they gotta be close together.
Good job. Knee back quick.
He didn't say draw a ruler. I didn't know shit, baby. I messed up.
Just turn it over. There's 2 sides.
Oh, yeah,
That's
like,
perfectly
I
fine.
did it like this, but like, I messed up because, yeah.
Turn it over. Alright, so you need your parallel lines. It's not hard. Just draw parallel lines. Look, y'all, stop and listen. We're actually trying to learn math today, and this is not a hard one to do. Draw your parallel lines, and what are they going to be labeled? M and N, okay? And then draw a line that intersects those parallel lines, but it's not perpendicular, okay? So draw, by the way, what is this line T going to be called? Thank you, right? It's a transversal. So draw a transversal, just make sure your transversal is not perpendicular. That is the only direction on there for number 2. Draw a line intersecting. They're not quite perpendicular. I would erase that, the transversal,
I don't know.
and I would make it more of an angle. Please notice I did a pretty deep angle with my transversal. It makes it some aspects of this easier when you have a deeper angle. The further you are away from being perpendicular, the easier it is to see what we're learning. You still need your transversal, Dee Dee.
Huh?
You need your transversal.
Oh, yeah, like
The line like this,
You need the line that cuts through them. Yep.
like this.
So I would even go more of an angle. A little bit
Yes,
more.
like that.
Turn it. There you
All the
go.
way through like
Okay.
this.
Now, there you go. So, you've got your parallel lines, you've got your transversal. Notice the next direction is, actually you need to make sure you label your lines, but then number your angles as well. You need those angles numbered so that you can follow the directions for the rest of this task. Okay? So you need to draw your transversal, you need to number your angles.
What's that piece of
Hey, have y'all numbered your angles yet?
No. Wait, what?
Follow the directions on your sheet for number 3. Actually, make sure you do numbers 1 and 2 first, and then do number 3. Just anywhere on the lines, dude. It doesn't matter. You draw them anywhere on the parallel lines. You just need one transversal. Just one transversal. Number your angles.
Wait, have number these angles again.
Okay. Okay.
Wait. Okay, when you number them, you number the little arrow points, like where you got the arrows at?
No, you're just numbering the angles. There's 4 angles created by the first intersection.
So
4 angles created by the other.
3, 4.
No. 1. It's on your sheet.
You pick any number you want.
No. Number it like the sheet. It says it in the directions. It's not funny, Josh. You trying to be obnoxious is not funny. You can read. Read. You're in high school. So.
I got it.
No, Jalen, what are you doing? Sliding the calculator with your foot. For real?
I can't do that.
No! That's how you break stuff. Golly, y'all are gonna give me anxiety. Alright, Terrence, you're done with the water. That was ridiculous. You could have drinking the water bottle like a normal human being instead of squishing it up like that. Throw the water bottle in the trash. Like you knew you were gonna make people laugh. Like that's why you did it, to be funny. Throw it away, it's done. Alright. Please follow the directions up here. I'll come around and check on everybody, but you're using your straight edge again. Take your patty paper and trace angle 1 onto the sheet of patty paper. So what you will literally do, take your patty paper, put the patty paper over angle 1, and then just trace it. So I already traced it, that's why it looks like this. But I'm going to put the patty paper on top, and I'm going to trace using my straight edge. So use your ruler. Okay? Use your ruler to trace that angle out. Notice I did it in the middle of my patty paper. You will need the other pieces of patty paper for other angles later. Once you trace your angle, start following these directions. Okay, I'm going to come around and check on you, but you need to follow the directions on the paper. Say again. Look, angle 1. Using a straight edge, trace angle 1.
Oh, angle 1.
Just angle 1. So use your ruler. Unless you just okay? Y'all, pick up your ruler and put your ruler on the 2 rays, because remember they are rays that are creating that angle, and draw angle 1 on your patty paper. It doesn't matter which side.
Yeah.
So there's that. And I would even label it angle 1. And guys, label your angle that you have on your patty paper and then follow the directions on your sheet of paper that's helping you explore these different types of angles.
So it's supposed to make an angle on your paper.
Yes. Okay, I will come by and check on you. Let's get to work.